lot of people that want to buzz me for a lot of the damage I've done.
Yeah?
I just don't want to get in trouble for it again.
You've gotten in trouble in the past. What's happened?
I got in jail a couple times.
But you still do it?
Hell yeah.
You're now tuning into All in the Bag.
Alright, recording. Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome to another episode of All in the Bag podcast. I'm your host, Myan. I feel like I should like intro you to like DMX or something like that. You know, coming to the stage, fucking, dogs barking and shit.
Right, where my dogs at?
Yeah. All right, well, yeah. On this episode, rocking the homie Guezr.
Yeah, what's up? Super stoked to be here. It's very, I'm just still surprised with the layout, I'm super stoked and comfy with how everything's going. We got some fucking pan dulce right here.
Yeah, hell yeah, got the
a
pan dulce.
Monster and a liquid death just to clear it out, you feel me?
Yeah,
For
hell
any
yeah.
heartburn. Huge. But, yeah.
I mean, it's like when you do it out of your living room, it's like, fairly comfortable, but I also try to keep it somewhat professional with the setup. So, doing and moving. All right, word. Well, fucking, I guess, just like always, I like to start every episode the same way, going to the beginning and shit. Like, how was graffiti introduced to you? What did you think of it when you were coming up, and why did you decide to pick up a can and get started?
Yeah, I think it started off just like with anybody's story. It's like there's like certain chapters on how you go through with your art or with the way that you want to express yourself. But yeah, to be honest, I'm born and raised in San Francisco, and I remember just seeing a lot of graffiti growing up, like just murals, like ICP, Twig, and all those guys, like just as like a 5-year-old, you know what I mean? You obviously don't comprehend what the fuck is going on, but it's like very vivid.
Yeah, for sure.
It didn't take a huge grasp into my life till I was like 11 or 12, because at that time I was like fucking around skateboarding. I was like getting on the bus from like the Mission to Daly City, bouncing all over the place, because I always liked being outside. I never really liked being in the classroom setting, so
Word.
I was like, okay, like let me go ahead and just wander off into the fucking streets with a skateboard and see what kind of bullshit I could get into. And I remember like bumping into a lot of older cats, like at the time I was like 11, so these cats were like 15, 21 to some extent.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, that was like the thing, right? Hanging out with like older
heads,
folks, and like no
for
one was
sure.
sussed about it.
No.
Now everyone's like super sus, but
Yeah. No, that was a thing though, for sure. Like, I mean, like for me, like, yeah, did you have to ever go through like freshman Fridays where like they would haze all the freshmen in high school and shit like that?
no, because I like did not enter school as a freshman. I like went through hella late because my fucking mom didn't know when that school started.
Oh, fire.
So it was like, yeah, I was off the grid most of my life, so that kind of sucked. But it was also cool because I like had a lot of time to do my own thing.
Word.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So like I hung out with all the seniors and shit. So when I became a freshman, all the seniors were like, "Nah, don't pick on that fool. That's the homie." So like no one really fucked with me. So it was kind of like hanging out with the older heads. You kind of always got game off of them.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this dated back a little bit more even previously before high school. It was more like middle school.
Gotcha.
Got into like smoking weed, drinking, stealing bottles from like Safeway.
Yeah.
Not
yeah.
a huge flex now. Now that shit's like super sad, but
Yeah, of course. But I mean, as a kid, right?
As a kid,
you're like, "Ugh, yeah,
super
I'm out
hyped.
here."
But yeah, I like ran into an older cat, and he's like still fucking out and about. He got me introduced with like Graph at the time, and he wrote like fucking Thief.
Oh, yeah,
what
I
I'm
know
fucking
Thief.
talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
He's still around. He's like super
Yeah.
solid.
Hey, he just got put in BNB.
Yeah. Wow, he's been in that for a minute. Props to him. Like, just he was. So we ran into each other one time in like Daly City Bar or something. And, like,
Okay.
he was like super down to kick it with us because like we were some fucking rocker ass fools. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just wearing black and like listening to punk and skateboarding.
Rocker foos.
Yeah. Right before that was like a term and shit, but he liked that I was like had a very like interest to graph, and he was always telling me like, oh, just grab a black book and see where you start off. And like from that get go, like I would go online and go on Flickr and Like, do a lot of, like, Bay Area research. Like, back in the day, like, motherfuckers were, like, going on Flickr.
Yeah.
Researching whatever type of name and then, like, putting Bay Area graffiti.
Yeah.
Because he taught me, like, oh, if you want to pick a name, like, just, you know, see if anybody has it.
Do you mind talking about your old names or no?
No, not. I mean, but we can, like, as time goes on with chapter and chapter, you know, like, they have that distinctive, like, purpose in my life.
Yeah, okay. Word.
But I remember going back and I was like, oh, you know, it'd be a sick name, like, if I wrote Silencer. And that name was already, like, obviously already taken. And I was like, kind of like, oh, fuck, like, that name got taken. But, like,
by one of the most epic writers.
Yeah,
in San
yeah.
Francisco,
Like, there
too.
is a Silencer, like, yeah, he's in, like, Rocker's Crew. I know he doesn't, like, fucking, like, paint anymore. He's doing some really random shit. But he was tight because he did a mix of calligraphy graph
Yeah.
with some funk. I don't know if he's like a SoCal writer, but it like brought up a good sense of influence. Like, you could be edgy and have some like very intricate letters, but at the same time have like a Frisco funk to it. Where it's,
Right,
like,
right,
very,
right.
like vibrant colors, not too like intimidating, but it can be. But yeah, I think, yeah. So I was super bummed when I figured that out. And like the first name I ever wrote was like legit Trash. Like, that's what I wrote. THRASH or whatever the fuck you write it. And I was like, whatever, I'll just write it to write it. And then as time progressed, I was like partying still, like being an idiot. And I just like observed a lot of what my environment was. And at that time, like between like 13 and 14, like I started dabble a little bit with going like to punk shows in Oakland and like the Burnt Ramen, which is like a spot in Richmond. And there was like a lot of graph exploding, and that shit just kind of amped me up a little bit.
Yeah, Oakland's definitely a good spot for fucking graffiti.
Oakland is, yeah, it's very sick in the sense that it's very saturated with like raw graffiti. It's not like a lot of murals. So you get the sense of like between bombing and like what people can do when they have like time to do something very legit, but it's also very illegal. But it's Oakland and it's the East Base, and somewhat people don't care, but people care, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Property owners care, but the city doesn't.
Right.
As weird as that sounds, I mean, fuck, that's just how things are in the Bay Area.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so like San Francisco, people very fucking care. Like, you have people walking their dogs, all those yuppies, and they fucking trip the fuck out when they see like a fucking 13-year-old tagging, even up to this day, right?
Yeah, for
Being
sure.
the fucking superhero fucking bullshit. But yeah, I like did that. And then around 16 to 17, I ran into my homie's Co. And at the time, this dude that used to write Bale.
Oh, yeah, fuck,
and a lot of other cats, too. I mean, it's so much to name. It was a good
SBC, right?
Yeah,
I
SBC.
remember
Yeah,
that.
and at that time, yeah, like, I had a different name, not Trash whatsoever.
What year you think this was?
Fuck, I think it was, like, early 2000...
I feel like I met you
12-ish,
around
10-ish.
2012.
Yeah.
We've known each other
that
fucking for a
was-
minute, dude. For over a decade now.
Yeah. I definitely didn't get the chance to, observe a lot of, graffiti growing up as older cats had experience.
Right.
I can't say it is what it was back then, but, because of COVID, it has kind of relived and, brought people back to what graffiti was, from what I've heard, what I mean?
Yeah.
I have my homie Acre, which he's been in the game for a long minute. And he is always like fathomed by like telling me like, oh yeah, back in the day, like it wasn't this crushed. Now it's crushed because of COVID, and fucking the city can't catch up. Like, there's so many fucking people doing graffiti.
Yeah, I
in
think
San
COVID is
Francisco.
definitely it really, like you said, it brings back graffiti to kind of how it was back in the day, but it was a blessing, right? Because you were able to rock all the shit that you want, and like nobody was out, especially that first year when everything was on lockdown, dude. That was so much fun.
Yeah, that was a trip because, I think a quick recap, like, I had taken a hiatus from graffiti before I started doing the dog and my, like, name now, because I had a lot of shit in my life going through. Like, because of me partying at a very, like, young age, like, I had to take a hiatus from, like, graph because I was like stuck in a hole with like substance use and drinking.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, fuck Graph, fuck everyone. I need to really focus on what I got to do with myself. You know what I mean? Because I was
Right.
like in a block, fucking. I was dug up in a hole for a minute. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
But COVID definitely. It's funny because it's like, am I a COVID writer technically? Because I came back from COVID, but like,
I mean,
it definitely brought me back to like.
I wouldn't say that because I mean, you've been writing for over a decade for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, fuck, you know, with your previous names, I remember you getting up all the time. Me catching your stickers, fucking, you know, fucking tags and shit, you know, fucking doing some pieces. So, I mean, I don't think that would be fair to say that you're a COVID writer, but I think definitely that emergence of like, oh, fuck, it's chill to fucking go out and do some shit definitely got you in the habit, and then you just kept going even after.
Yeah, I feel like back then, like, fuck, we're in 2023, so like roughly 10 years ago, like, it was a lot harder to paint, not only because of what the environment was, but more of the sense that, you know, like, you could get fucked over for this shit for the next couple
hell
of years.
yeah.
You're gonna get arrested and you're gonna do probation.
Yeah.
Which I have already done, and like, you know, I've already fucking done like community service several times, not even graph related, on some stupid shit, but like, it gets very repetitive and boring. And at that time, like, I was just like kind of calming down. And then that kind of brings up the next chapter, which was like when I turned 18, I was like, man, fuck the States. Like, I want to get the fuck out of here. So my family had, you know, growing up, they had wanted to go move back and forth in like Central America and stuff.
Yeah.
And I took that opportunity. Like, honestly,
yeah.
like, and it just goes out to anybody. If you have an opportunity to go to, like, you know, a different country, you should fucking take it. Don't even ask for anything and figure it the fuck out.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
that's exactly what I did at 19, 18. Like, they gave me the opportunity to, you know, take a plane ticket out there. And
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I was gone for like a year and a half, which was sick because
Monroe is visiting you, right?
that was when I met Monroe, and that was like super very chill and cool because
I remember seeing your guys' fucking like posts and shit like that, and keeping up with you online and stuff like that.
yeah, because Isaac was like from Chiefs, you know, like OG Chiefs head was like, oh yeah, dude, like you should fucking like link up with my bro, like he's gonna come out there. And you know, me as the person I am, I'm like, I don't know who the fuck this dude is, but you know, if you're telling me he's chill, he's gotta be chill. You know,
If
I
my
get
boy
people,
fucks with you, like I fuck with
I give
you.
people chances for sure. And you know, when he linked up and I had the same experience that he had, was like, whoa, what the fuck, where am I at? Like, it's very like, you know, at its raw point of what life is, you know, poverty, you know, a lot of shit going on.
Oh, Central America definitely fucking, you know,
it's intimidating. You have like, you know, any dangerous thing could come up, but like,
yeah,
at the same time, it's kind of weird and cool, but you have your friends there, so you're kind of like, oh, I think it'll be all right. You know what I mean? Like, someone's leading and we're just painting, fucking around. At the time, I was like heavily drinking, so we were just kicking back, going like to different parts of like different countries. But good part of my life, very bad at the same time because I still dabbled in a lot of cocaine.
I'm sure there's a lot of it in Central America.
It was very cheap, but not to put too much emphasis. But besides that, like the graffiti down there, people do travel. People travel out to countries that you would never expect. Yeah. And it just amps you up more. And the cops didn't necessarily care of what you were doing, but if they caught you and you dressed kind of like, you know, sus, they would definitely stop you and, you know, ask you for maybe $20 and like, I remember going to a bar one time, not even trying to like with no like writers or anything. I just went to a bar with some chick. And I was like super drunk and I like caught a whiteout tag and this cop from the same bar was there and he was like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, oh, my bad. I was like, my bad. And he was like, come on, man, what the fuck? What are you going to do about it? And I was like, bro, here's like $10-15. And it was like quiet and he like let it go. And the stupidest shit was we both went back in the same bar.
And just kept drinking.
Like nothing happened, but he like wanted change. And I was just like, bro, what the fuck? Yeah. But there was like different occasions where it was like very dangerous at the same time.
Oh,
because
for sure.
I remember one time we were like in the outskirts of like this little town and some dude was not feeling with what we were like painting, and it was like a tag, and he pulls out a machete and like he just gives us this mad dog look at us. And my homeboy's like trying to de-escalate it, and it was not getting de-escalated. And
Right.
hopped on the bus, and we see that fool running towards us, and it was just like super bad, and like it like made the mood like, oh fuck, like we almost could have fucking got chopped up.
Yeah.
Like no one here in the States has a machete unless you're in fucking
Into camping or some shit like
Into
that. Yeah,
camping?
and even
Yeah,
then, like
yeah.
it's not. Yeah, I feel the fuck out of that. Getting chased with a machete in like Central America is like that's fucking mad hyphy, dude.
Yeah, but you know, one thing I've learned was that you can't let your environment really intimidate you. You can only like kind of read between the lines of what you can anticipate for. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like if you're in a rural area or whatever, like you gotta kind of expect that some shit might pop off.
Right,
but
right.
you can't really let it stop you. You just gotta let it
Kind of face those fears.
You gotta like prepare yourself what might happen.
Yeah.
And honestly, like most than half the time you could kind of talk your way out. But
Yeah, for sure.
and that was like one thing I brought back from like being out there to like the Bay Area is like you can't let your environment intimidate you. You just gotta be aware. Like for me, like painting roll downs and stuff out here, and like painting in the Tenderloin, like just be aware. Like, you know, are these fools might trip or they might not? Are you ready to talk to them?
Yeah, ready. You got to be ready for any situation that comes and be able to adapt.
Yeah, exactly. Like you
Yeah,
have to
I feel that.
adapt, and like, and in different occasions, like there's certain patchy spots of the city where I could feel like I don't give a fuck. Like I'm gonna do this in front of everyone.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
certain parts of the city which I don't do that, and I gotta pause and like run around a car or like, you know, be a little bit more cuttier. And like those are spots that are like fucking like where like rich people are at.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
Yeah.
they're automatically gonna
If you're in like
trip.
if you're in more the residential area, right? There's just like families and shit like that. Then yeah, motherfuckers are gonna be like, you know, Karens and Chads and shit, and trying to call the police and get you all fucked up and shit.
Exactly. And I've already been in that situation where they do call the cops, they do play a hero, and it just goes downhill. But honestly, like this was more like growing up, because I remember that being as a kid, for anyone hearing this, it's like it's super hard. Like everyone thinks they can one up you, everyone thinks they can go over you, everyone's talking shit. Your parents don't fucking like it, and everybody at school fucking hates you for it, and you're just like the fucking like sense of like black sheep out of everything.
Yeah, for sure.
And like everybody just wants you to not do it. But I think as corny as it sounds, like if it genuinely brings you in a sense of calmness and like, oh, I'm proud of doing this, then you should continue doing it. I've already
100%.
been dragged by like city workers, because I was you remember me when I was a teenager. I was super tiny.
Oh yeah.
I'm tiny, you know. I was tiny at that age, but now it's
yeah.
like I'm a fucking full grown man, and like
And now you're
no
swole,
one, yeah,
bro.
no one,
You're sexy, looking
yeah,
good.
this fool. Shoot. But yeah, now like some fool sees me painting, they're gonna mind their fucking business,
Right, exactly.
regardless.
Like I'm not gonna fuck with this swole ass dude right now.
And I'll
like,
give them like, I won't mean mug him, but I'll give them a look. Like I see you see me.
Exactly.
I think we're
Mind
cool.
your fucking business.
We're chilling,
Yeah,
right?
I feel the fuck out of that. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you just gotta approach it like that. I've been in so many situations where talking your way is where it's gonna be at, and I don't know. For me,
Yeah,
and
if you have mouthpiece, I think that's something that's like key in graffiti for sure.
yeah, because I ran into fools that are like, "Hey, yo, fuck you, blah 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 blah. We're gonna keep painting," and I'm just like, "Damn, bro, like, chill, dog. Like, now you're making it. Who knows if this fool has a gun or some shit? Like, I'm fucking chilling,
yeah.
dog. Like." I'll just be like, oh yeah, my bad. Like I remember one time painting this fence, and this like big black dude was like, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh shit, my bad, OG." He was like, kind of eyed me in, but I kept it walking and finished it later on that night. But
Yeah.
instances like that where I'm not gonna be like, "Oh fuck you, OG," blah blah blah, you know. But
Yeah, exactly. Because you just never know, right? Especially like fools might pop off, and then you're like, all right, what do I do now? Because now my mouth got me in trouble, right?
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think going back to like certain chapters, so I was like down in Central America for a couple years, year and a half. I came back, was partying pretty hectic, and then I was like, I need to clean my act, so I took a hiatus from graffiti. But I think one major thing that a lot of people ask is like, oh, why do you do the dog? And like, it's
That
not
is one of the questions that someone asked. They're like, how did the dog character come into play?
so yeah. I grew up with a lot of people that did characters.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Bay Area is really well known for the monikers, quote unquote, and known for like doing stuff outside of like the structure of like letters and graffiti, what it is, bus hopping, straights, throw ups.
I mean, at one point you were in a crew that was pretty much, for the most part, kind of all characters, given a few people that really just did letters. But like,
That crew definitely, I hate to say it, but it fell off because like we were all getting caught up one by one by like fucking the like San Francisco units and shit, the Vandal Squad, quote unquote.
Right,
so
right.
we were like, all right, we gotta like mellow out. But yeah, most of those cats, they had shown me that you could be very creative about painting. You can paint outside the rules of what graffiti can be.
yeah.
And I like observed that a lot. And most of these cats were like way older than me. Like they were like at least 7, some 8, years older. One of my homies was like, 5 years older and stuff. But they showed me that you can be creative,
Yeah.
go outside the norm. With traditional graffiti. So I took that, it was in my mind for a long time, but I always grew up with like edgy calligraphy, understanding throw ups, how they need to be if you're gonna bomb it.
Yeah.
But I was super like, I'm not gonna dabble in characters or anything like that because it's not my realm at that time. But up to this current day, or like the past couple of years, I like switched up my name yet again because I was like, I don't want to relive no fucking stupid ass trauma from when I was like on a sick one.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna start off fresh where no one knows me. I'm gonna fuck with some new letters, and it was started off with letters, Guezr, right? GUEZ.
Yeah, because I think, how long has it been now? At least like 2-3 years?
It's been 3 years.
Okay.
It's been 3 years since I've done that transition.
Yeah, because you and I, fuck, dude, it's been a minute since we painted that one spot.
Oh
with
yeah,
Odom, with
that was
Odom and
sick.
Tenchi.
Yeah,
That was fun.
That was dope. It was like we were like
I remember
deep and like
yeah, and I remember you did your new letter set, and I was like, oh shit, when did you change your name? And you're like, I don't know, I just got to switch shit up, I got to do my thing. And I was like, all right, fuck it, yeah, and I actually really liked what you fucking rocked that day. That was hella sick.
yeah. Off the tops, G's are just super solid letter.
Yeah, G's
it's
are
a
hot.
very complex letter to start off, and like it already has like in my perspective, I see letters as like if you're very creatively like if you see the imagery of like each character as like a legit like it has a very character to it,
That's funny as fuck.
Like-
Jammer UGS says that to me all the time. He's like, every single letter should have its own face or its own body, and then the way they complement each other, they should be like a gang of homies kicking it, like
Gang of homies kicking it. I like that.
so
Yeah,
it's
that's
funny that
sick.
you say that ideology and shit, like even though like you probably never heard that from Jammer, but it's
No, I
interesting,
haven't. But he's also someone I highly respect because I've had conversations with him where
Yeah,
he
yeah.
talks about like he is a very like he's a dictionary of graffiti in his mindset.
yeah
You just gotta dabble in with a conversation. He'll tell you like shit that you won't hear from other people that don't get graffiti.
right right.
But yeah, very very much respect to him and like UGS for sure because that shit's been on for like a good minute, right? Since the 90s and stuff.
93, yeah, is when it started.
Dude, honestly, one of my favorite pieces was which one I'm going to talk about is the yellow and blue outline one in on that wall where the tunnel's at. It's like, I think it was done in like 2006, 5-ish. I think Steiner did it.
Yeah, oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Shit, we might as well pull the computer if you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, like that one was
It's
sick.
just a UGS shot, right?
Yeah, very, very
Yeah.
like intimidating letters. And I was just like,
I think that was based off of a Say's sketch, actually.
yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, because when Steiner first started, he was definitely doing a lot of Say's sketches, and it's obviously evolved into what he's doing now. But like, I mean, like at the beginning, Say's was like, "Yeah, do these."
Yeah, and that's like another dude that's like seen me like progress throughout time.
Yeah.
And I've had conversations with him as a teenager where he's like, you should just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And, you know, he's fucking straight edge. But at the time, he had still like, oh, yeah, this dude's gonna go places, you know what I mean? And like, you know, you don't see the path of like where you're heading. You just want to just focus on what you're doing now.
Right.
As time progresses. But yeah, shout out to him too. He's a dope ass dude. Dope ass tattoo artist too. Like that's someone that has a lot of elements into like being creative, like music, tattooing, graph.
Yeah.
Like people nowadays just stick to maybe one or two and that's it. But to have like different aspects of being creative is like, it's going to put you ahead of a lot of things.
Yeah. No, Steiner does a lot of shit for sure.
Yeah.
So now you're coming out of Central America, right? You're back in the U.S. You're still kind of on a sequence.
Bug it.
Yeah. And so like you're taking the huge hiatus. How long have you been sober now?
I've been sober for 6 years.
Sick. Okay.
Yeah, I like low key went cold turkey. Like I went from like doing hella blow and like ecstasy, because in the Bay Area you do a lot of ecstasy growing up. Or I did, but it's always around you.
Yeah,
you know
I remember.
I mean? Like, hella ecstasy and like fools get hella fried from it. And like, luckily I wasn't that fried, but I was like very all over the place. But dabbled in that for a long time towards the end of the fucking, you know, binge and shit, and like with drinking. But yeah, like
so
it kind of.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just meant from when you decided to go cold turkey. And so now it's been 6 years and you've been writing Guezr for 3. What was that initial jump to be like, all right, fuck it, like I'm going to get back in? Because I don't really remember you writing kind of when you decided to take the hiatus and you dip. I don't remember writing a lot.
Yeah, no, I like, again, I had to take that break from everyone and like painting, because like it just really re-triggered me on like, oh, like, you know, I was just going through a lot of bullshit, like with like getting my friends cut off from my life, and like my family not fucking with me that hard, and like with some legal shit that happened. So I was just like, yeah, fuck graph. Like you do have to take a break. Like this isn't gonna be something your whole life in certain like parts of it. But you can still like, it'll linger, you know. Like I remember being.
I think that's important to take note, because graffiti will always be there. I think with anything in life, people kind of get depressed when they take a break from something, you know, and they're like, I'm not doing it, I'm not doing this, and woo woo woo. But like, it'll always be there, and you can always come back to it, you know. Just like with anything, you know. I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about when you're like, fuck, I'm not doing shit, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, but I can just hop back into it and keep it pushing. And now you've actually made more of a stamp than you have with any previous name you ever have, in my opinion. I think now motherfuckers are like, damn, that fool's fucking killing it, you know? Like,
yeah, like where did that history come from? And
yeah, because people are like, okay, who is this? Because this isn't somebody that just like, you know what I'm saying? Just jump off the get.
I've heard everything. I've heard fools say like, I'm from the Valley, I'm from Fresno, or like, you're from San Jose. Like I lived in San Jose for a minute. Okay. But I'm not from Fresno. But fucking shout out to Fresno. I like painting out there. It's pretty tight, pretty mellow. Definitely a lot of, you know, cool old stuff to paint. Yeah. But tracing back, like why now, you know, in the past 3 years is like, yeah, I grew up with people doing characters. I observed what they were doing. All I just kept thinking was like, if I were to do something like a character, I wanted to be raw with power. You know what I mean? Like I want you to see it and be like, I might be in the wrong fucking place. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's a great like, fucking I'm in the wrong fucking place to see this shit type. You know, like you ever played Tony Hawk and you were like some shit or like GTA. And you see certain graph in the game, and you're just like, oh, I'm in this area.
I'm in the hood. I'm in the ballers territory.
Yeah, exactly. So there was certain districts I would only paint, but I'm open for whatever. Like as long as I like get my little like high from like painting, because that's what it is. It's like a little fix. Like I think it would cool if this was here, so let me do it.
Scratch that itch.
Yeah.
So how did you decide a dog? Like what was it? You know.
Yeah, I mean, I
And
say this.
is it a Rottweiler or a Bulldog? Like, is there any specific?
It's a hard one because it's weird as you say that, but it's honestly depending the surface and the sizing of it. Like sometimes it does look like a Rottweiler, sometimes it looks like a pit bull.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's a bulldog.
Okay.
I hate to say that because like I do get like fucking people. People in gangs don't fuck with the bulldog imagery, but
Yeah.
it's there. I do it, but I like try to not dabble into what gangs are and stuff.
Sure.
But you have like certain Theos that are still rocking and like the gangs and stuff, and they're like, nah, fuck this shit, and they mark me out with like a pilot pen or something.
Yeah.
yeah. I've had like if I could like I'll like should do this, go on Instagram or something, and like put like a portfolio up for like all the gang shit that's been riding on my stuff, and I'm just like
All the OGs that go and hit you
I've,
with a
I've been
Sharpie.
heard like fucking mutt, and I'm just like, dude, this is kind of funny, like.
I mean, but you're in people's mouths.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
like people are going out of their way for it, and that's always like
Yeah, you're doing the
honestly
right
a
thing.
pleasure. Yeah, because like you're taking your freedom just to go over my shit. Tight, sick.
Yeah, exactly.
Go handle it. I'll be right back.
Sick. So like how? All right. So you got the name, you got the Bulldog, you kind of like sketched it out, and then you're like, all right, I'm just gonna fucking start murdering shit. I mean, because this is the most active I've ever seen you over the last 10 years. That you're like fucking, it's nuts.
Yeah. I think this is where I shout out Venom. Thank you for Venom for fucking.
So
Thank you for keeping me up for fucking days on end when I'm sleep deprived. But I think most of the drive, besides the energy drink, is just like knowing where, like your district of painting. Like you have to know Oakland, you have to know SF.
Right.
I've dabbled a little bit with going up north to Portland, Seattle, and a little bit down into
You were
LA.
just there recently, right?
Yeah, and
Okay.
like, I may not know the area, but if I have a car, check it out in the daytime,
Right,
observe
do
it,
your
and then kind
homework.
of plan it out.
Sure.
But honestly, and this is just speaking for myself, because when I was on a sick one, I would just be inside my room and like not go out. But now that I don't, it gives me more time for myself to be like, okay, I could go be out and be creative, like if it's in the daytime,
Yeah.
I want to go possibly paint a train. If I'm in the nighttime, I want to go walk around, catch some tags, and like maybe fuck around with a throw up here and there if it's chill, or like if I'm in the mood for it. But like you always want to be creatively driven, you always want to draw. And if you're not even outside and you're inside, maybe like pull out some stickers and keep it going. Like it's always like the cycle of doing it, because you're not gonna get better if you don't do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, again, like I wasn't on a sick one, so imagine the next day I'm like, oh, I got more energy to keep it going. I have more energy to keep it
Right,
going.
because you're not fucked up from the night before and shit.
Yeah,
like that.
and like again, like back then I would like paint a piece and then want to get fucked up.
Yeah.
And not do shit the
rest of the night. Yeah.
But now it's like I could do a piece and then I could chill, grab some food, and then hey, I think I have time for an energy to go bombing. Let's go do that. Hit up some couple homies. And like I think that's one cool thing about the Bay Area is like I think you could always find someone to paint with. I don't think it's mandatory, to be honest. Like in the beginning when I was like coming up with the new, name and like character, I did it all like somewhat all by myself in a sense. Like I was always trying to push myself like, oh, I want to do it. Like no one's going to put it out for me. I have to do it.
Right.
And it's slowly like you pick up certain people who you want to paint with. They come with you. You paint with them. It's all fun. It's dope. But, at the end of the day, it's like you hold down what you want to represent is the name, the character. And I've seen people throughout, even in just, it's unfortunate, but in 3 years, like come in and fall off.
Yeah.
But I'm always like, no, I like being creative. I like painting. Like, I like the fact that I can do something that, in a sense, that comes out from my own mind to place it on the wall. Get that little fix, quote unquote, of painting, because it's honestly a fix. Like, it's weird.
Would you say you've kind of switched one addiction to another?
In a sense, it kind of is, it kind of not, because if I
mean, obviously,
yeah, because
going
like,
down drugs and drinking is fucking terrible habit, and getting up is obviously way cooler.
it's creative. Just gotta be safe. Honestly,
Yeah.
like what I always tell people too, and I should probably speak from my own, experiences. Like dabble in a fucking mask, dude. Because people get fried from fucking hell of fucking respirators. Not respirators, but like the scent from like smell,
Oh yeah.
like
You
the
rock
paint.
masks when you're bombing?
Not when I'm bombing. I mean,
Yeah, you
maybe
gotta
I'll
be-
rock like a mask just for the cameras and shit. But like, you're outdoors already. You're not gonna be in front of the paint.
But if you're down in like in a
But if
tunnel
you're-
or anything
if
like
you're in
that,
a
you're rocking a
tunnel,
respirator.
yeah, like you have to, like, or even in a bando. Some people might hate me for this. Some people are like, nah, bro, like I gotta fucking smell the paint. And don't get me wrong, I fucking forget a mask. And I'm like, fuck it, we still doing this.
Yeah, of course.
But it's all about longevity too, Like I've seen older cats that I don't know what the fuck where they've been at, but you can tell like the paint has kind of consumed their mindset of certain things. You know what I mean?
Oh, I can
And
name
if
a few
not
off the top of
that-
my head.
Yeah, and if not that, your fucking lungs are getting fried.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no, health is extremely important, and shit. I mean, first thing when you came up here, I started yelling at you. I was like, "What's up with those energy drinks, man? Like, fucking A, like those things are terrible for you."
yeah, right. I'm still gonna drink them. I gotta keep myself.
Yeah, that's
up.
cool, dog.
I don't even drink coffee, man. I drink coffee if someone's trying to go out.
Cafecito con pan dulce, homie. Like, shit.
Damn, that is a mood. I'll
You know
tell
what
you
I'm saying?
that.
There's nothing more fire. I got decaf in the fucking cabinet just when I want cafecito, at
Just
night.
for the
'cause I'm-
taste.
Yeah,
for it,
exactly.
Right? That's hella funny.
But that's a whole nother vibe. But yeah, I feel the fuck out of that. I also want to ask you, so like, how did because the at least for me, like, I think one that I've really noticed constantly is the whole 666 money. Do you care to shed any light on that or any history of it? Just because I myself don't know much about it other than the fact that all you guys are stupid up, but like
Yeah, so shout out to Cumrag, that's my fucking nigga right there. But him and Pop Lock they grew up partying a lot.
yeah.
They in like the Richmond, Oakland area, like early, like 15 years ago. They were like playing shits and giggles with like 666 money bags. That's the origin of it, right? Or
Okay.
dollar sign, dollar sign. And then they had like, placed it down for a bit, nothing too serious. And then years after, when COVID hit, he had said, fuck it, I'm gonna fucking push the name Cumrag and see how down people are. And then at the time, he like fucked with the like younger folks, like Steam, fucking Too Hot, and all those fools. Majority are in TFK, which is funny, which is cool. Shout out to TFK because they're fucking heavy hitters. Not even shit I would have done at like fucking 18 to 21,
Right.
So yeah, they started pushing it, and then a lot of more people slowly came in. Grame, Nautical, R.I.P. was, he would rep it too. So it was like a Cuddy crew. It was like definitely a Cuddy crew at first.
Yeah.
And then around that time, like in the beginning of COVID, I started seeing it in names and like throw ups, and then I was just like, oh shit, like this might be fucking like this is sick. And then I like slowly like progressed into like knowing who Cumrag was,
Right.
and we like grew into like becoming homies and shit. And then he was just like, oh yeah, you want to join the crew? And I was like, yeah, fuck it, like it's not very problematic. Everyone knows each other, and like I already knew from the get go, like this is something I could hold down because this is now a new chapter in my life where I could like I'll rock it and have like a good memory with it.
Right.
Regardless,
Right.
And I push it a lot because I understood now that me and Cumrag are somewhat in the same type of generation, and I think it's just overall different. Like it has a number, it has a money sign, it's not an S, and then we cut it short into like 6 dollar sign. I think it's just dope. I already fuck with like heavy music, so 666 isn't fucking scary to me. Some people, some people are. You know what I mean? Like I could do my name and then do the 666 dollar sign, and the next thing you know, like the only buff mark is the 666.
Right.
And I'm just like, look at this fucking dude, fucking
Yeah.
buffing only that. Like, you know, Jesus
And,
Christ.
and the fact that it's just like some evil looking ass fucking bulldog just staring at you, fucking.
Yeah, I feel like a dick because I've painted spots where everyone's gonna hate me, but I painted spots where it's like, oh yeah, there's like it's been running for like a month and like, you know, that's sick and like people got their name on it. But the minute I get a bulldog, and I don't do this as much because I know it might happen, is that the minute I get a bulldog on there, boom, the whole wall gets buffed. Because then they're like, we don't want this demonic looking shit on this. I'm just like, all right, I need to stop putting people on the wall on blast like that.
You're getting walls buffed because they hate your image.
They just hate the
much.
image. Like, it's just like, all fucking aggro and shit.
Yeah. That's
but
fire.
At the same time, I'm just like, I prefer to just whatever. If I can make it fit somewhere, I'll do it. But I'm not gonna put everyone on blast because some people don't want to see that image for whatever reason. But yeah, I think going back to your question from the get-go is like, why the bulldog now? Is like, yeah, it's a powerful image. I listen to a lot of hardcore on a daily basis just to be, you know, amped up. And a lot of images in albums like Cold as Life, what I'm rocking right now, is like they use the pit bull. They use like, you know, or sheer terror, they use the bulldog. So I was like, fuck, like.
So that really inspired you growing up in the hardcore scene.
Yeah, it inspired me to just be like, that's it. That's the one. Like, I don't think I've seen a dog out like that's willing to push it in the Bay Area. Made like, you know, you have it in different zones in the US or like outside of America. But like, honestly, like growing like.
Yeah, the only dog that I can really think of, I think, is Nerf out of LA.
Nerf is tight, dude. Honestly, yeah. Like it was funny because
I can't think of another one.
Yeah, because he came out to the Dead City show in Oakland where they're like burning hella shit and like.
Oh, I was there. Yeah, dude, that show was insane. You know, Steiner almost died.
What?
Yeah, you remember? Okay, so the you know remember towards the end when the truck ran into the crowd.
Oh, he was right in front of it.
No, so the dude fucking So after that dude ran into the crowd, so for anyone that's wondering, there's this crazy ass fucking like punk hardcore. I don't even know what genre they are, but it was great. Yeah, okay, it was like a crazy ass show, and I didn't even really want to go last minute because I didn't know what it was. But my lady Tenchi was like, nah, let's go and come. I see everyone there, dude. There's so many people. So we're there, and like, you know, they're burning shit up. There's fireworks everywhere. It's just total fucking chaos. And then I think people were fucking with the dude's truck, and he like flipped out, and he fucking ran right in and like almost ran over people and shit like that. And people started fucking kicking and punching his fucking car, and like, you know, bro, there was like hundreds of people there. Like, you're not, you know, what's one dude in a truck? So he pulled out the gun, started blasting. You know, it makes me think of Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Anyway, I started blasting.
Yeah, it was rowdy. Like, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, people think Oakland's like chill and like you could do shit, and it's like y'all forget that sometimes this zone is like hella lawless.
Yeah,
like,
you can catch some
pop
shit,
off.
dude. Yeah, so that was a very lawless fucking. Yeah, that was a fun show. But yeah, so Steiner fucking the homie shot towards his direction, and Steiner like ducked, and the fucking bullet just ricocheted off of a wall, dude, and it was right in his fucking path.
Oh shit!
So like a split second more, man, it would have been fucking R.I.P. Steiner.
R.I.P. Steiner.
Yeah, dude, that show was nuts.
He's straight edge, so he can't die.
Sick. So remember that, kids. If you're sober, you'll live forever.
Yeah, right. Fucking.
That's hilarious.
Keep eating those veggie burritos, y'all. That's the miracle.
Are you vegan?
No, hell no, man. I love my carne asada. Fuck that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, fucking A.
Kudos to the people that do it, just not me.
Yeah, I feel it. But you know, I definitely push clean and sober myself. Yeah, because I mean, for me, you know, it's like I was a huge stoner from like when I was like 13 up until 32, and then I just got sick of being burnt out, and then I noticed that like when I'm high, I don't want to do anything, right? And I just fucking eat and become this fat lard, right? So it's like as soon as I stopped smoking, I lost hella weight. I was way more fucking productive. I got hella shit done. And I'm like, oh fuck, man, all right, I should have done this a long time ago.
Yeah, fucking kudos that people are still doing it and they still have like their shit together. That's just not for me anymore.
Same.
But like, I think one thing I do miss, honestly, is like smoking like a blunt or a joint and just sitting back and just being like, damn, I created that. And like, I see certain mistakes, but I enjoy what I painted, you know?
Oh, okay.
And like another
Interesting.
thing is that I know you could probably validate is like back then I used to use a lot of colors. I still do
Yeah,
here and
yeah,
there.
yeah.
But I used to just trip the fuck out and make my shit way more jagged, way more trippy, no clean cuts, and like use very like raw colors and that, you know, it would kind of make sense, but not really. But now that I'm like, you know, just, you know, sober, I'm just like, my mentality in painting is different. My mentality is like, no, just keep it chrome, black, copper, white, and maybe some colors, and then just make it like clean. Just give it time, you know, to clean cut it and like do what you got to do. Still keep it raw. That's something that's gonna be in me.
All right, the next time we paint, we're doing like 7 color fills.
No,
3 colors in the 3D,
people
highlights, gleams, backgrounds.
People can vouch that I am that fool to come up to a fucking production and be like, "Yo, what's up? We still doing chrome?" Like, yeah, that's just me.
That's what's up.
Yeah, chrome hits different, I guess.
No, Chrome does hit different. Absolutely, I completely agree with you. That the one I posted for the questionnaire, though, I really like that. It was just like very simple, but still colorful. You had black to blue with just a white and a couple red, just to like, you know, give a little pizzazz.
Oh yeah, I mean, colors go a long way. Like you could, you know, honestly, you could fuck around with the color wheel and you could definitely spin it around and see why certain colors make sense.
Right.
Like people forget that there is a certain structure into what you can apply to graffiti, not just
color
in
theory is
fine
definitely a
art.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, of course, do your own shit, break some rules, but like, there's a science to it. There's a science why that arrow makes sense to the direction it's going to than what it was. And people tend to forget that people have this idea of like, I want to do something different because I'm different and I'm going to do my own set of rules. But it's kind of like tattooing, like traditional tattooing.
Yeah. There's a
Like,
structure and you need to stick
there's
to
a
it.
structure, understand it, follow it through. This is why people look up to Subway art graffiti.
Right.
Because whatever you fucking have done to this date has already been done by some fucking like 15-year-old back in New York.
Right. Yeah.
Like, honestly, like a major influence that I have is like ICP. I have a major influence with Dream.
Yeah.
And you can see that those fools already understood it. They like already got the memo why this is Bay Area graffiti.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm from. So obviously I'm going to grasp and understand it, but again, put my personality into it based off how I want to do it.
Right.
Sometimes it doesn't look cool, sometimes it does, but you know, that's why you keep perfecting your craft and keep doing it.
Keep
and
going
doing
regardless.
It and doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, for sure.
And you have to like collaborate with different people that are way ahead of your own time. Like, you know, you always want to learn. You don't want to just be stuck.
Yeah.
Because once you're stuck, you get bored.
Yeah.
Once you get bored, guess what happens after that? You fall off.
Yep. I agree. Yeah.
And that's, again, why I do a dog, because I was, from my own my own experience, I've done letters for quite some time, and I personally got bored of it. I was like, I do want to do graph, because that's graffiti, right? But at the same time, I want to do my own thing and see where I could dabble onto it. And to be honest, like the first year doing that stupid dog, like it was so ugly. It looked like a fucking cat.
I'd
And
love
like
to see some
people
of the
were
first
dissing
renditions.
it, and people were not fucking with it. And I just kept going and going,
kept pushing
trying to
through
like
that.
drawing it out. But like I was like getting dissed here and there, and I was just like, the admin fool's like, nah, bro, like I'm not a kid, you know that, right? And then they'll be like, oh, okay, my bad, bro, and like. And that's like another thing with like beef.
Touch my shit again, homie.
Yeah, right. The all this tough guy type shit. But like sometimes you gotta hold it. Like you gotta let fools know you're gonna hold it down.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like you're
but-
not one to necessarily want to have beef, but like at the same time,
You gotta defend
like,
yourself,
yeah,
man.
Exactly.
You gotta defend yourself if you're gonna be all over. Because there's just gonna be that one group of people that just don't want to fucking see it.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, it's funny, like you just gotta hold it down, man. You cannot get run up and be like, oh my god, like nah, man, like
Yeah.
shit sticks around for a while. Like words speak louder, in this certain community because rumors come out.
Yeah.
And that sticks around way more than fucking chisme from like Diaz and aunts, you know what I mean?
yeah, I feel the fuck out of that.
Like fools talking about shit from like what 10 years ago, like that's how it goes down in Graph. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
people don't know you, so they'll make assumptions.
Yeah.
But yeah, it stuck to that imagery, and I don't really have like a feature for it. I just want to do it. I think it's just what I'm about, just what I want to do. I've said it like before, like people have told me like, oh, there's another dog. It's like, bro, this world is like somewhat small that of course you're going to bump into somewhat the same ideas, but like there's just different characteristics of like what people do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So fucking, I hate Torch so much.
The questions?
Yeah, Torch is always on some stupid shit. He said when he was born, could he ever have guessed he'd grow up to be such a big dog?
What?
He like wrote it as your name.
I am so confused.
This fool just always stays doing like what was it not last episode where that was with Swerve, but with Cower he was like, oh, how come we haven't seen a Cowabunga? Like he just
that'd be kind of fire. Cowabunga.
Yeah. Shout out to Darren. He says, oh hell yeah, he's a killer and a good dude. Dogs or letters?
Dogs or letters?
Yeah.
Like if I had to choose just one.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a fucking tough one. Dude, that's hard because it strikes two different audience. Some people love the image more than graffiti. I love traditional graffiti. When I think about graffiti, I think of like Jade.
Oh yeah.
Jade, BTM and shit. Like that's graffiti.
Yeah.
That's graffiti that's like, I'm gonna piss you off because you don't understand it, but I do and my homies do.
Yeah, that's
And
timeless graffiti for sure. Rest in peace.
Vandalism. So shit.
He also said save some spots for the rest of us.
My bad, G. I'll say letters. I hate to say it. You can dogs, like actual dogs, are gonna be there. So,
Weird.
shout out to my little pups.
Call Me Cuddy asked favorite breed of dog.
Favorite breed. I would say Rottweilers.
Okay.
Yeah, Rottweilers are dope.
Sick ass fool.
There's the coat, man.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
black.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then a little bit of brown. Like that's perfect, man. And then
Black and brown, we get down.
Hell yeah, I'm with that. No, for real, I am, man.
You got that Astro Fat or that Skinny Cream?
Who the fuck asked that shit?
Rule 34 research team.
Oh, let me see. Oh my god, it says
You got that Astro Fat or the Skinny Cream?
Oh damn, Astrofat.
What's that? Muchacho Alegre. He says, ask him, son Reeboks or son Nikes?
Oh damn. This is the rhythm of the night.
yeah, exactly.
Classic. I love it.
That's so for anyone that's not Latino, or Hispanic. Actually, do you know the difference between the two? I forget if I talked about this on a previous podcast.
Damn, I'm not Raza because I don't know the difference.
Man, pura raza way. All right, so for those that don't know, and I just recently found this out. Okay, so Latino and Hispanic. Hispanics come from the origins of Spain, so like Mexico, Central America, those are Hispanics. Latinos are Southern Americans. Those are like Brazilian, Portugal, because a lot of it came from the Latin word of Grecians, Portugal, things like that. So there's the main difference. Now Latina has become like an umbrella term for all of us, but the true origins is Hispanics are Central America. Latinos are South Americans. So.
There you go.
But for those that don't know, there was a famous radio show back in the day, and he was asking for a song. And they're like, oh, well, what does it go by? And he's like, oh, something about, son Reeboks or son Nikes. Like, are they Reeboks or are they Nikes? And then he was like, do you mean fucking Rhythm of the Night? And then he's like, yeah, that shit. And it was just like some ignorant ass fucking little dude. Fucking, oh, man, dude.
Classic.
What's funny is, like, this is even more niche, but very similar to that. Like me being Guatemalan. So in Guatemala, we call cats mish. right? Oh, mira el Mish right there, you know? And so one time at a radio station when I was a kid, I remember fucking listening to the radio station like, oh, you know, quiero oír esa canción, El Mish que volaba. And he goes, what the fuck? You mean El Gato Volador? You remember that song?
Yeah, I know that song.
If you know that song, you get it. But this is a very niche conversation, so we're going to go past that. Some people say, what came first, the name or the character? Town native.
The name, man.
Name. Did you want to talk about any names that you've done before, Guezr?
Nah, I'll let y'all figure it out. Word gets around. Y'all can talk.
Word. Fucking shout out to Monroe. He says, when we going back to the motherland, fool?
Shit, man. Fucking, we could damn near go in the next 6 months. I want to go to Mexico.
Yeah?
Yeah, dude. Mexico's sick, dude. Mexico
Depends on like what part of Mexico. I don't
Mexico
know. Even
City,
me, fool, like I even get fucking intimidated by Mexico. Like, I mean, I actually last year I was in why am I blanking on this? Not Cancun. It's a little bit up north of Cancun, Playa del Carmen.
Oh, okay.
And it was fucking super cool. You know, that's more like the Yucatan Peninsula, which is more Mayan based. Aztecs are more north. But it was very tropical, and there was tons of sick ass graffiti. There was even a meeting of styles production there.
Oh, that's sick. I
Yeah,
love
so
those.
like shit like that. But I mean, I think Mexico City, even like Oaxaca, that's like bombing cities.
You were so random, but you remember meeting of styles in SF?
Oh, I remember meeting of styles in SF. So
You remember,
bro,
like...
I was so annoyed with you. I fucking hated you that day, dude. So yeah, going back to on a sick one, this fool was on a fucking sick one. I remember you and I were on Valencia and I think 22nd, and I think we just got fucking either Jay's Fine Line or Serrano's Pizza. And you like passed out in the chair drunk.
Oh, hell no. Fuck.
And then so it was like me, Monroe, I forget who else was there.
Steiner, maybe?
Steiner might have been there. I think Coat was there.
I don't know, man.
It was just hella heads, but like we were all kicking it, eating pizza. I'm pretty sure it was Serrano's. If you haven't been to Serrano's Pizza, it's fire. And then you just wake up,
run out the fucking
and literally ran out. And we were like, where the fuck are you going? And you just start bombing the fucking street, like straight up in front of like 30 people walking by, no one giving a fuck. You just have no idea what the hell is going on other than that you have a can and you start catching fucking tags in front of everyone. We're like, blood, it's like 7 o'clock at night. It's like not no bombing time. And you're just like so fucked up. And then everyone was just like, and I think at that point you'd already done that like 5 times before we even got to Serrano's, where you would just like pass out, wake up, bomb some shit, and then run away. And it was like, oh my god,
that
blood,
shit was
chill out.
Sick, dude, because like, oh man, I forgot the year. It was like
2015.
2015. You just dropped it.
I remember specifically, dog.
Yeah, because like people were doing pieces, kids were running around.
Well, because that was the last time Meeting of Styles happened, and the only reason why I remember specifically is that Cuts got gone over by those Australian people.
Fuck. We gotta go to Australia and fight back.
Years
later, like, what's up, fool?
Yeah, so like Cuts, before he passed away, he had, and we were actually all kicked it that day when Cuts was there. I actually have a picture on my Facebook.
Oh yeah, that was sick. The
you, me, Steiner,
production.
Rhodey when he was writing back in the day. Fucking Monroe, Coat was there. I forget who else, but it was mostly
kickbacks.
Chiefs.
Yeah,
it was basically all Chiefs and then just me. And then
and that one random dude that like lived on the block was like walking by.
Oh, with that picture,
with the glasses. Like,
yeah,
he was like,
I still have that. Yeah.
We're like, get the fuck in here.
Yeah. We took a group picture, all of us kicking it,
hostage.
and then we grabbed a random neighbor. He's like a dorky ass dude, has nothing to do with us, and he's just in the picture. And we're all just cheesing it super hard. That was so. Yeah, so Cuts did a piece in the Mission, and then unfortunately that same year, right after he passed away. It was very unorganized meeting of styles, and so these Australian guys who obviously did not know anything about Cuts just buffed right over him and started painting, and people were flipping out and they had no idea. So that's unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I remember that because that year that happened, and then I obviously remember you being on a sick one.
Yeah, good times. Good times you don't even remember, man.
Yeah, and I think that was like the last time we like all really kicked it. And then I think you kind of did you already go to Central America or?
No, that was like after.
Oh,
The
okay.
Mania Styles was after, and I had came back.
Okay,
Came
yeah.
back and
Yeah, and I think that's when you kind of disappeared for a little bit to kind of like do your thing.
yeah, definitely took the. It was probably around after that.
Yeah, and then yeah, I remember fucking, and then after a while of not seeing you, that's when we hung out. I think it's almost been like 2 years since we painted.
Yeah, I
It's been a minute.
I like bombing. I like painting out in the street, but like to be honest, like I think piecing production stuff like in tunnels or like in a train, like that's just chill as fuck. I love that shit. Like
Yeah.
you just get to meditate and not worry.
I mean, I'm old. I don't know if I can keep up with you bombing, but I'm definitely down to go.
Bombing's so stressful, and I'm not gonna fucking be like, oh yeah, it's chill. I know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, yeah, I guess I know what I'm doing, but nah, man, it's such a stress.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
having to be like, oh fuck, gotta run. Oh fuck, gotta fucking drag this fool or some shit. Oh fuck, I just gotta
Drag this
I
fool.
gotta like, I just got blasted at like shit. Like the other night, me and Hydra were painting, and like we were on like 98th and International, and this fool's doing a straight ladder, and I'm
Fire.
like, yeah, fire. You know, I'm doing my character sick. And then I turn around, I see some fool like literally like fucking start blasting, and I just hear the gun shells like next to us. I don't know if it was towards us or not, but
Wow.
at that point I'm like, Dro, let's fucking go. And this fool's like, oh, what? All fucking like all over the place. He's like, no, bro, don't run. The cops, if they come, they're gonna see us. And I was like, bro, they gonna see us dead if they don't fucking run.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, blood. That's a whole different.
Yeah, I
Cops are the
love
least
that
people you
fool,
worry about in
man.
Oakland.
Yeah, I love that fool. Like, we can literally go through hell and back, and then we'll just laugh about it. Like,
Yeah.
anybody else is like, nah, dude, I'm not painting with you.
98th, bro. You're deep.
It was out there. Yeah.
Yeah, you're deep east.
Yeah. Again, like I've been painting Oakland for a while.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
too crazy, but enough to be like, oh, this is the street. This is the street.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, we resurfaced and hanged out with more people from there, and I was like, oh, okay, now I understand like where to maneuver and what not to
Yeah.
go.
I am going
love
to yell
it.
at you, though. Don't call it international.
Huh?
Don't call it international.
Call him.
East 14th.
He's 14.
It's like when people call fucking, it's like, well, I mean, like me as, you know, I mean, we're San Franciscans, but it's like when someone says like Cesar Chavez, I'm like, that's Army, fool.
Army. Oh yeah, you're right. Fuck.
Yeah. So they changed East 14th to international. And so
Yeah,
I always
man,
yell
yeah.
at people. I'm like, you're from here, fool. Don't be calling that shit.
I'm not. Yeah, that's funny. True that. Yeah, I've heard that about that going around.
Yeah.
sure.
So been blasted at. Any other crazy fucking, anything memorable that like other than being blasted where you're like, holy shit, dude, fucking this is dicey.
Damn. I mean,
When it comes to bombing, it happens all the time. It's like shit's just like
it kind of, yeah, like just the other night, like I was painting, and I remember like I was like at a fucking like storage restaurant or whatever, and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna fucking do a dog right here, and like I'm filling in, and to be honest, like the filling in aspect of it is like the easiest, because like it doesn't look like you're doing graffiti, it just looks like you're kind of cleaning it up.
yeah, it looks like a buff.
And this lady just parks, boom, just right by the driveway of where I'm painting, and she's like eyeing me, and I was just like, what the fuck? And then the homie in the background was like, he's like giving me like the cuts around his like throat, and he's like, just stop, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta go. And I thought it was sus, but not really. But that's the like last time that's just happened. To be honest, this was like the other day, so nothing
yeah.
too crazy. I can't really think of it.
You ever been chased?
Oh yeah, that's a given. Yeah, that's yeah, there's been spots where I've like had like, you know, norteños come up and
Well,
be like,
fire.
yo, what's up? And I'm just like, I'm gonna fucking
Run.
stop.
Yeah.
Not saying don't hold your ground, but you
Yeah.
know, if you know fools are strapped, just
Yeah.
keep it pushing.
Yeah, your fists don't match a bullet. any
Not
day.
at all. Yeah, San Jose is crazy for that too. Like,
Yeah.
I love painting San Jose because it's mellow, but like, you can run into shit down there. Like, shit's still active.
San Jose is a very interesting part of the Bay Area for sure.
Yeah, right. Like honestly, the Mission isn't all like that anymore. Growing up, it
No,
was.
no, yeah.
Growing
I
up, it
mean,
was like
yeah.
you would not want to wear certain colors, but now it's like pretty patchy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's still a lot of, the families that bought those houses back in the day, like years and years and years ago, those people are still there. But 24th, I grew up on 22nd and Treat, and like what it was back then. I mean, my family moved from the Mission to Bernal Heights because we had people constantly dying in front of our house. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, that was a thing that I was like, all right, we need to get the fuck out of here. And so when we moved to Bernal Heights, we were there for a few years, and then I ended up moving to the peninsula because this dude shot a couple in the head at the park. I lived on Presida and Hancock. You know Presida Eyes?
Oh,
where
shit.
the Presida,
Right there. Yeah.
where the
next to
Presida Park was, where they would do the thing every year. Yeah, he just walked up to a couple and just blasted them. They're just sitting at the bench, and that's when my mom was like, all right, fuck this, we're moving. And so ended up fucking going to fucking San Bruno.
San Bruno, different ball game.
Yeah, completely different ball game than San Francisco at the time. But yes, the Mission is not what it used to be. But San Jose definitely much has that aspect to it. There's definitely, it's interesting because you do have, it's funny because like you have like Lords, which is such a prominent graffiti crew, right? And like true graffiti artists, right? And then you have like hella tag bangers, which is like really interesting, So it's like there. I feel like there's more. I could be wrong, but I feel like there's more tag bangers than there are graffiti writers in San Jose, right? It's like Lords, Chiefs. I mean, can you think of anyone that's in San Jose that's like really not tag banging?
That's a good one.
Right, yeah. And
like,
I could be wrong because, I mean, I don't really kick it too much in San Jose. I mean, I go there every once in a while, but fuck, I see a lot of people fucking hitting up,
Yeah, it's like part of the culture down there, which is good. I kind of see like it unfortunately gets violent, but
yeah,
it's part of the aspect of that street life. That's what it is, like just like bus hopping back in the day, like that shit used to be a bunch of tag bangers too. Like bus hopping, like I knew motherfuckers that were like doing some heavy shit, but they were like doing sick ass bus flow. Like,
yeah,
you would see a bus flow and be like, that motherfucker's like probably dealing dope.
Yeah.
Or he's like currently strapped or some shit. But
yeah,
it's kind of died down. Some people still dabble in that kind of lifestyle with graffiti, which is like part of what it is. But that's what.
What's your bus flow looking like?
That's crazy, man. Because like, I don't think it's that bad. I mean,
yeah,
it's there. I fucking grew up from that stuff. I grew up with hella people doing it.
You need to bring that shit out.
Would I be hyped up to be like, yo, let's fucking bus hop? Probably not, but it's fun as fuck riding on the bus. Shit, that's just funny. Like that shit's fun because like the bus driver's like, yo, what the fuck are you doing and shit. It's definitely a culture where a lot of friends are like, acquaintances that you grew up with, and like if one person's doing it, everyone's doing it, everyone's killing the bus.
Yeah.
I grew up with like Coat, he did a lot of bus flow.
Dude, Coat's bus flow is so good.
Yeah, like there's a certain like style and there's a certain science to it. And then honestly, like the two people I look up to bus flow is like Sacred or Sacker, like SACR.
Yeah.
And also like Hype,
yeah.
BTM, like those two, or like Jade too. Jade's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, those fools have like a very good flair to what they do. And to be honest, like as long as you're able to follow through with like a chisel tip marker and do it on a panel, then that's pretty much like
like
behind it. But
like a pilot zebra.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna be the vivid representation of bus hopping. That's not my element. But of course, it's gonna be.
It's nice to hear like your take on it. Growing up in San Francisco and shit.
Yeah, I thought that shit was sick. I think it's also sick doing a throw up on a bus.
Yeah, have you ever done?
Seen homies do it. That shit's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been like, you remember like when the fucking Giants won?
Oh fuck yeah!
Buses were getting burnt and they were like having throw-ups and shit.
Oh yeah, dude, fucking A. Remember when? Just because you remember you brought up bail earlier. Remember when fuck, what year was that? It was like Bale, Murs, Weezo, even fucking.
Oh, those fools were killing it, dude.
What was that chick's name? Fuck, it's gonna bother me. Starts with a D.
Diva?
Diva. Yeah, remember when they were hitting yeah, ASMR. Ooh, that's hot.
You like that?
Cracking open a monster.
Damn, shout out to Monster. Sponsor me already so I could fucking die soon.
Bro, you're gonna get diabetes with that shit.
Went from 0 to 100.
Fucking A, dude. Before he was hardcore, he was emo.
Fuck.
So yeah, fucking. I just remember Bale and Diva and Weezo and Murs hitting Bart. There was like a Bart strike years ago, and I remember them fucking doing that shit. Anything that you've ever hit that's like hella crazy, other than obviously just walls, roll downs, and shit like that?
Oh man, that would be a topic outside the podcast.
Yeah, word. That's fair. Let's see here. So, what are things right now, other than obviously other graffiti writers, that inspires you?
Oh yeah, good question, because I knew this was gonna come up. To be honest, people want to say like, oh, certain graffiti styles inspired me and like certain hand styles, but my inspiration mainly comes off the energy off people. So growing up, I used to see like, unfortunately, just some people have a bad reputation for certain things, but there's people in my life that I've seen painting that was like, I'm going to do it in your fucking face. I don't give a fuck. And I'm going to tell, lawless.
Yeah.
And
that inspires you?
In a sense, like, I would say, like, yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that's what I do and that's how I live it, but, it motivates me to be like, that's the type of energy you sometimes got to hold it down. Like,
that raw energy.
Yeah. You can't come in there like, like, oh my God, I think I could possibly do it. Like, no, fool, you're going to fucking do it or not.
Yeah.
And whatever comes your way, just be prepared for it. So the energy are like that, you know what I mean? And it's actually pretty dope when people do it without being hella fucked up.
Yeah.
That's like, whoa, you're doing it. Like, that's who you are. That's not like a representation of what you want to be. You know what I mean? Like, I could do a throw up on a hot spot, and then the next minute I'm like super mellow about it and like get the little high from it. But yeah, I think, fuck, who could I think about that? Those KUK guys, dude.
Yeah.
Like, the way they painted growing up is like, they have a fucking huge portfolio of fucking graffiti. And like, graffiti, in my sense, people think has this energy of like hip hop. And like, yeah, that's where it comes from in a sense, you know what I mean? But I grew up with heads that were like huffing paint in the fucking bathroom stall of a venue, doing hella blow, and then next thing you know, the fucking like outside venue is getting crushed and shit. And like, yeah, and that was my interpretation of graffiti, was just the music, and like keeping that energy lively out in the street. And that's what I do now, minus the huff in the paint, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, having fun, blasting some music, having a good time, and like being hyped to do what you're doing.
Fuck yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I gotta, I guess being around the energy of people, that inspires me. Like, corny as it sounds, like friends. Like, when I don't have inspiration to paint, I just look at what my homies are doing and I'll be like, whatever, if it's riding the wagon. But if Hydra's doing a cool ass straight letter, I'm gonna fucking do a cool ass straight letter. If the homies from 44 are doing like burners, I'm gonna dabble in with a burner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like follow that for sure, and it's all about experiencing that from different individuals, because at the end of the day, like, graffiti is a community based subculture.
Yeah.
You can't do it on your own. You could say you do it on your own. Cool, cool points for you. But
yeah,
some people are like, oh, I'm antisocial. I don't fuck with so. Dude, awesome. Dude, cool. Like, whatever, But for me, like, it's all about a community. It's all about respecting. It's all about, providing for knowledge to people that are willing to listen and growing that bond. Because like when I'm not here, this younger fool might hold it down. My other homies might hold it down. And as long as they're able to, push that boundary of what graffiti can be, then I'm super happy with that. Like I think one thing that people forget is that you think you're going to get money off graffiti when realistically you're not.
Yeah.
You're
People are getting
not-
into the wrong reasons for sure.
You're not going to get money. You're going to probably go to jail. You're probably going to lose some fucking sleep. You're probably going to lose a lot of friends. You're probably going to fucking lose your fucking like emotional and mental health.
Yeah.
But if you're able to find a balance and understand why you're doing it, then continue doing it. I do it because I find a sense of calmness within myself when I do it. And I certainly feel like I'm accomplished, like not in a sense of like, I'm happy that I did that.
Yeah.
And not only people recognize it, and that's fair. Like we're humans beings, like we want to get recognized,
Sure.
but we also want to love our own artwork. I hear all the time people saying, oh, graffiti's so self-centered. It's like, all you care is about yourself. Not really. Like a lot of friends could vouch for me about how much I care for them and what I can do for them outside of graffiti.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm going to waste $5 on gas to fucking see my fucking throw up. Yeah, I'm going to drive around. I'm going to bike. I'm going to walk around my own artwork. That's not being self-centered. That's admiring what you do.
Yeah.
But when you start losing relationships for graffiti, then it's like, all right, I mean, in my perspective, in my own, steps that I've used to done, like, yeah, I'm probably fucking up with some part of aspect in my own
If
life.
you're like losing those people in your life. Word.
Yeah.
So go into one of the questions I wanted to ask you is with that, how do you balance, kind of like a work-life balance, right? So it's like, how do you balance graffiti life balance,
Oh, man, that's a hard one because I work a 9 to 5. Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And if I'm bombing until 4 or 5, I got to fucking go to sleep somehow and wake up the next day at like 8:30 and then fucking shower up, boom, get to work.
Damn.
But I try to, and this goes out with everything because unfortunately, drugs, mental health, and graffiti are part of the same circle. And, unfortunately, people pass away from graffiti for different fucking reasons. And it's not just that effect that fucks with people. It is what happens after that death.
Right.
Where now friends are overdosing. Now friends are, going haywire with graffiti, but they lose that sense of like why they're doing it, or they're putting themselves in harm's way where, I think as a solid homie, you have to check your homies and be like, yo, how you doing, fool? Like, you doing good?
Check in with
Is
the
there
people you care about.
Yeah, like, there's been so many instances in my life where I wish I checked up on so-and-so and I didn't.
Yeah.
And I wish I could have. But,
Yeah.
I'm not going to let it fuck with me. But for the most part, you can just learn from
there
that.
shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? But like at the same time, like you can learn from not necessarily even a mistake, but like those lessons of like how to evolve and be better. So I think that's something for sure.
Yeah, like my homeboy, which I like always get to bring up, is Meyer, because I used to go to high school with him.
Okay.
He was like THR, BKF, and like there's like a couple bus hopping videos of him in the bus and stuff. But yeah, that's like that one dude in high school that was like, yo, let me hit your black book, and like, he caught some couple tags. And like at the time I didn't really like, admire for it. I was just like, oh yeah, whatever, like tags on the black book. But now as I'm older, and now that he's, he passed away at 21 through violence, like,
Yeah.
I look at it like, nah, dude, like this dude had potential. Like, just talking about it just gave me goosebumps. But
Yeah.
he had raw graffiti for what it was, and that's kind of like why I'm like, fuck, I wish I did something else besides graffiti, but I'm in a community where it's my life. Like, it's,
Yeah.
I know so-and-so, and he's in, this part of my life, not because of graffiti, but now he does graffiti. So it's like, fuck, dude, like, I can't leave it alone. I have a friend, so-and-so, like, that is a photographer. Like, fuck, like, I can't go anywhere without it.
Yeah.
It is just a part of it, you know what I mean? Like, people with photography, subcultures and stuff, like, they have their own type of community, People in music, they have their own set
And
of
graffiti's
community.
your community. This is your thing.
Fortunately, it's a
I agree with that,
double-edged
though.
sword, like,
Yeah.
I've done this for quite some time where I don't want to let go of it. Like, I feel like I love the steps that it takes. Like, you get to a spot, you paint it, you enjoy the colors, you pick out the colors, you enjoy, the structure, take with the flick, share with people. And it brings more than just music. It brings I have homies that we don't even listen to the same fucking music, and he is like my number one homeboy.
Yeah.
Because of what we gone through.
Yeah.
And
I
that
feel that.
has somewhat more value than most things, but again, I'm also like open about things outside of graffiti.
Yeah. So how do you navigate? Because you and I have both been into this for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
There's obviously a huge negative aspect to graffiti. That's just, it goes without saying. But I also agree with you, because part of the thing in graffiti is, even though there's all this negative stuff, some of the most solid people I've ever met in my life is because of graffiti, and that's why I'm so in love with this community. And of course I do it for myself, and I'm sure you've already said many times you do it for yourself too. How do you navigate through all that? How do you deal with the bullshit, and like move past it?
You gotta take a step back. Even if it means just stopping, because that's what I did.
Yeah.
I stopped doing graffiti because it triggered me. It got me pissed off. It got me wanting to do drugs again.
Right.
So I had to take that hiatus. And even if, sobriety isn't like your end all goal, which is fine. I'm open for people doing harm reduction. I'm open for people still trying to find a change in life, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
But I think you have to really take a step back and be like, okay, if I'm feeling so-and-so, what can I do about it? And it could be like, talking to a therapist or like a counselor or anything. I'm always going to push that. I don't give a fuck what people say. Like, I think taking care of yourself is a priority.
Oh, I 100% agree.
You have to take care of your mental health, because fortunately the subculture, it brings, as I mentioned, brings death. It brings substance use. It brings a lot of tragic shit.
Yeah.
You could want to say you avoid it, but bro, you have people that have done murals. They don't do street bombing. They do murals, get shot at.
Yeah.
The fuck, like, it's just,
Yeah.
that's a part of it. That is a part of it. And
yeah, mental health is definitely something, and I actually appreciate you bringing it up. I myself recently started doing therapy, and like, I go every Tuesday and I talk about, everything, so I can sort my, childhood trauma and shit like that. But I think it's important to like deal with those things and have a clear, conscious mind so that you can attack things and grow as a person.
yeah, like, I'm not gonna say what I do for a living, but let's just say I work with the community, and
That's what's up.
I see it at its raw point.
Sure.
I help people that are homeless, and that's just a part of it. Of course, I'm not gonna say what I do, but
Yeah.
in the beginning of me doing the character and the graph, like, I would bring that shit home, dog. Like, I would see like people using fent and smoking crack, and not that part is like the tragic of aspect of it, but the emotional damage that they're going through.
Sure. Yeah.
And
That shit weighs in on you.
I would, yeah. And like, I've worked with sex workers before, and they would, come up to me about like their DV cases and like, the domestic violence and like the abuse they go through, and them crying. And I would just take that home, man. And like, I remember like, again, in the beginning of painting a dog, I'd be so frustrated. Like, I'd be like, if so-and-so is going through this, I don't think this dog is going to fucking matter if I fucking do it on a roll down. Because so-and-so is over here smoking crack because of their abuse. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then eventually, like, through counseling and talking to peers, they would convince me and talk to me like, that's just something you have no control over. Like, you can't let it get to you.
Yeah.
And I would, bro, I'm telling you, like, I would even paint by myself.
Yeah. Just to like stay away
just
from
to
people.
get that mind off of what I was thinking about. Like, I would
Yeah.
just, it's a vicious cycle. I'd be thinking like, well, so-and-so's having a bad day, so I think I'm going to go paint. And then while I'm painting, I'm fucking up my own mental health and sleeping more, not sleeping less, I mean.
Yeah.
But you got to communicate. I think that's the overall thing that I'm going at is like, you
Yeah.
have to find a way to speak about coming up with your own emotions. You can't just really dwell too much on it. Like, of course, your emotions are going to hit at some certain extent.
Sure.
And that's what happened to me. You know, I let my emotions, that secondhand trauma, like hit me with certain stuff. And I've tried to learn to step back and not let it affect me because I have no control over that. You know, that's certain
Sick.
people's lifestyle. That's their path. Like, I'm not going to be mad because my homie's out here doing drugs and like going out and about, putting themselves in harm's way.
Right. Just worry about the things you can control.
All I can really do is be supportive for him
Right.
and be there.
Yeah.
When
No,
I
and
can.
I agree.
When I can. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like there's been times where I've had to cut people that I've taken care of for so long
Yeah, you
and
can't
be like, hey man, like I love
overextend
you.
yourself either.
I love you to death, but I got to take a step back. There's been relationships where I've had to take like cut off and like come back because like I knew the damage it was going to take on me, not just with graffiti,
Sure.
but with myself. And that shit looks different for all sorts of people. Like I would fucking start binge eating.
Binge eating, yeah. Fire.
Yeah, like I'll be like, I'm gonna eat In and Out, and then after I'm gonna go eat like a pizza, and like
We're gonna eat In-N-Out
next
after
thing you
this.
know, I'm like, fuck, why am I so tired? Like, fuck, like I don't want to do shit, and then,
Right.
and that's what happens, you know.
Yeah.
I build the habit of observing my actions, and I'm not saying it's like I'm the perfect fool or whatever, but you know, you start realizing like everything has an effect and everything has, you know, a toll for it.
Sure.
Like when you start painting every night and, you know, calling off work and like having bad job performance, like that's what happened to me. That's why I'm
Yeah.
like saying that. Like I would call off and be like, I am so fucking tired of work and I can't even fucking come up because I've been up since hella late.
Yeah.
But that was because of like life problems, you know, and like different type of stuff that I was going through.
So to reiterate, definitely mental health, communication, you know, being disciplined, obviously being aware of like your actions and what you can do, but it's also not letting other people to affect your actions or their actions affect you.
Yeah, you definitely
Word.
not want to burn out. You
Yeah.
know? Like even if you're burning out from
it can be
graffiti.
easy.
Yeah, like some fools do it day in, day out. I felt like I was doing it day in, day out, but I was burning out, man. Like I was
Seems
just,
like a dog. I
was
can't go
like-
anywhere without seeing you fucking.
I'm not saying.
I mean, I was in fucking Half Moon Bay just the other day, and I'm like, look at this fucking guy on this truck over here, like.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's where you seen the truck. In
Yeah,
Half
yeah.
Moon Bay. Damn, sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, you know, people forget that time gives you ups. You know what I mean? You can paint and paint and paint, but you let it spread out. You let people spread out in the environment and then they see your graffiti. It doesn't
Yeah, yeah.
happen overnight.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
unless you're hitting like a billboard,
You know, I
some
think
hot boy shit, then
Right,
people are gonna
right.
see it overnight.
I think it's one of those things that it's been said time and time again, but I think definitely graffiti is not a race; it's a marathon, right?
It's a marathon. There's going to be different perspectives. One day you're piecer, one day you're a bomber, one day you're just tagging.
But you're still consistent in going.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know, it's a creative outlet. I love it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't tattoo, so, you know, people are like, you should tattoo. And I'm like, probably not my environment. I'm chill with that.
Yeah,
I'm so chill with that. I'm like, this is my realm. This is what I love.
this is my thing that I do.
I love being outside.
Yeah.
I love going out.
Sick.
Yeah, I love. That's why graffiti's so addicting, and people need to realize that is because it's so fast.
Yeah,
A tag takes 3 seconds, and it's a saucy tag, and then you're like, I want to do that again and again.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
want to do it again.
yeah. Before you
And
know
then-
it, you got like 200 tags in a night.
Yeah, and then let's say you do a big ass straight letter, and that takes like damn near like maybe like an hour or like 45 minutes, depending how quick you are, right? And it's like the greatest satisfaction that you're like, that's big, like that's a big ass straight letter, like I want to do that again
Yeah.
and again. Oh shit, there's a dog I want to do this, roll down and do this dog that takes me like 4 or 5 minutes. It's only 4 or 5 minutes. Like, what the fuck, life? Like, you telling me this is the best thing I could do right now? Is like,
Yeah.
this is the best, like, adrenaline rush. That's what it is. It's an adrenaline rush, right?
Yeah.
You ever like anticipated for a spot with you and your homies, and you're just like, damn, this might be it. Like, we might go down, but next thing you know, you guys get away, and then you're just like, fuck.
Let's go do it again.
Let's plan something out now, and it gets crazier and crazier. Man, I've painted shout out to Notice, but that fool, I'd be like, yo, dude, like, I think I'm done. And he'll be like, nah, dude, like, we could probably hit another spot. Like, it's going to be chill. Like, we could do it. And I'm just like, that peer pressure comes in, and you're just like, all right, let's go do it. And I remember that's happened to certain spots with me, Notice, and Gato, and like, Gato would look at me and be like, yo, this Notice fool is on a sick one, but he's not. He's just super, like, impulsive.
Yeah, that's what's up.
I think that's what it is. You need to have some level of impulsive to be wanting to paint.
Yeah.
Because it's a huge risk.
Yeah,
I think it is. If it's not about getting arrested, it's about getting caught up with a gun or, like, people trying to fight you.
Right. So with all that, I always like asking, like, if you could give advice to 18-year-old you, what would you say?
I'd say don't be in your head too much. Just do it.
Yeah.
Because
That's pretty simple, but like very effective.
I was going back to reliving a lot of like shit that I was not learning how to deal with, and repetitively in my head. And I wouldn't say I live like that to a certain degree anymore, but I've learned to cope with my thoughts and learning how to process it. Like, there are days where I'm just like, I fucking hate today. I fucking just witnessed and saw or heard some shit that I didn't want to hear, but you have to acknowledge it and be like, yo, tomorrow's a different day. You don't know, you just got to stick around for a little bit longer,
I think that's a really good point. I think that's something that I've recently taught myself, is that many things are very temporary.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. I think as a painter, you always get into writer's block, or like, you always feel like, fuck, this thing I'm painting, I'm so fucking mad about it. Well, yeah, get mad about it, but finish it and worry about the next one.
Yeah,
like,
because
the
that
next one's
feeling's not going to
come
be
up.
like that forever, right?
Yeah, there's been so many times I do a throw up, and I'm just like, oh, haha, I fucked it up.
But the next one's going to be that much better, right?
I try to laugh about it, man.
Yeah.
Like, and people always bring up with the whole fact about like the meme video that I made about like painting and shit, which was funny as fuck. But you can't take shit too serious.
Yeah.
You just can't, man. It's graffiti. The fuck, it's already funny as how it is. Like, you're writing on shit.
Yeah. If you break it down to just like the bare bones, I mean, you're writing on people's property and shit with your fucking name.
It's hard. I mean, I think it's hard, but sometimes you break it down, take a step back, like, you're just like, oh wait, I'm scribbling. But I'm probably gonna lose some fucking respect for saying that. But I love doing it. It's funny. It's fun.
Yeah. No, graffiti's sick. It's fun. I have a list of questions that I usually like to touch base. What would be your last meal?
My last meal?
Yeah.
Wow, you're a dick. That's fucking... I hate that question because it was just a fucking MRTX bar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know what that is? The fucking, like...
No.
The protein bars that are...
That would be your last meal.
I thought you were saying that was my last... If that was my last meal.
Oh, your last... Okay, I get what you're saying. So your last meal was a protein bar.
Yeah, okay.
No, I'm saying, what would be... It's all good. If I said, all right...
This is your last meal before you go to the fucking death sentence.
Yeah, kick the bucket. What are you eating? What are you asking for? A Monster Energy drink with...
No, not at all. Oh, dude, you got to go to Toulon on 6th Street in Mission. They have curry fried rice.
Okay.
Dude, perfect amount of salt. I would have like fucking 4 portions of that shit.
Damn.
That would be my last one. To be honest, and like Thai food's fucking good.
Okay.
That's it, man.
All
Maybe
right.
that or a California burrito from those
California burrito. You mean the one with the French fries in it?
Yeah, the one
Man,
with
that's so much fucking. I can't stand California burritos, but that's just me. That's just so much fucking starch, dude. You got the tortilla, the fucking rice, the fucking. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. Let's see here. We touched base on it. Oh, what's a good memory that you have with graffiti? Something that you look back on, you're like, yeah, man, this was a fucking sick ass day.
Oh man. You know, I can't really say one good memory, but honestly, like I remember, and I've been thinking about this a lot, but I grew up with this guy that used to write airs. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, of course.
And
Shout out airs.
he was like telling me years ago, he was like, man, if only we like got up hella fucking big, like, man, I'd be so happy. And we were like smoking and drinking, and then we were like, yeah, man, that'd be tight. You know, that'd be sick if we did that. And then, you know, I'm not putting too much emphasis that if, oh yeah, I fucking made it, you know, but
you're getting it big now.
It's getting there, and you know, I always show him flicks of the shit I do, and he's like, damn, we would have never thought we would do shit like that. And it's just like, we're doing it, dude, and it's gonna.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and
it's a good memory to think of back in the day. You're like, you know, I want to do some shit, and now you're like, I'm in here living it at the moment.
Yeah, like I'm not saying I have a fucking Mercedes Benz or some shit, you know what I mean? Like, but I'm very content, you know. I'm very content.
Your self gratification for what you're doing.
Content with the friends. I'm content with what I'm doing. I'm content with the continued growth of it, you know.
Sick.
And I think that was like a good day in memory. Just thinking about that.
That's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking. So, outside of writing, do you have any hobbies that you like to do?
Yeah, I mean, when I wasn't doing graffiti, I was like doing a lot of like working out, like barbells and like weightlifting.
Sick.
That's still like
a hobby. That's why you're fucking swole.
Swole ass for right? No, but I love doing that. You know, that's very like, if it wasn't for graph, I'll definitely still do that like twice as like much and stuff. But it's still like pretty hard because I'm like losing sleep while I'm still painting, but there's balance. And I still do it for my own mental health.
That's what's up. And then obviously, you know, we talked about Central America, but any plans to travel?
I need to get my passport going because I want to go to Mexico, dude. I keep saying that. I want to go to Mexico. I want to go to like Dallas and Houston because the homie Tomb is over there. Tomb, shout out to that fool. But yeah, he's like, yeah, come out to Texas. I hear Texas is chill. It's rowdy.
Yeah.
I want to go to, everyone wants to go to New York, which is cool. Maybe I'll go there soon. But like, maybe Miami, Florida. You know what I mean? That shit's sick. I mean, it's also bad and rowdy, right? But if we're talking about outside the country, yeah, maybe like Thailand or something.
Thailand, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, your last meal. Oh wait, no, that was
last meal, right?
Was Thai, right?
It was. Oh, it was Vietnamese food.
Oh, it was Vietnamese.
Yeah,
sorry.
that shit smacks too.
Okay.
Though.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny because like.
Have you been anywhere else outside of Central America?
No, that was it. That was it. Fucking. It feels like forever, but yeah, I think I wanted to resurface is that like anyone should travel, especially with graph, like it's everywhere. And if it's not everywhere, leave your mark and
fucking make it everywhere.
Make it everywhere.
That's fire.
Yeah,
I like that
and
a lot.
like it's crazy, bro. Like it is crazy how we're miles away from each other, but I could go to Portland or I could go to LA and fools will know what I'm talking about in the Bay Area somewhat, you know?
Yeah.
That's how close yet so far.
I think that's a very niche thing, right?
I could go to Mexico and fools would know what I'm talking about the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm
Even
sure
though it's,
Mexico's pretty fucking
different world.
Yeah, there's definitely some really cool riders in Mexico.
Oh, San Diego's tight too. I love San Diego.
Yeah.
San Diego's sick. So beautiful down there.
Yeah.
I remember when I went down there, I was like, oh, bro, it's going to be like a fucking East LA movie or some shit. But nah, dude, it was like super nice. No one's trying to fight you, dude. In
Yeah.
SoCal, it's so crazy. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, it was dope to paint. Yeah, it was dope to paint down there. But yeah, I want to continue traveling, whether it's in my car or not. Got to.
Yeah.
I'm so bored of SF in Oakland, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I'm actually going to Japan next week.
Yeah. Luckily, we got this going, so I'm stoked on that.
Yeah, I was hoping to get someone, because that's the biggest problem too is with this podcast is like actually getting people to, hella people say, oh yeah, I'm down, and then it's like, all right, well,
Never show up.
Yeah,
We're like too
yeah.
intimidated.
yeah, or people second guess it and shit.
Mm-hmm.
What motivates you to keep going? What motivates you to keep writing?
The act of doing it, like I have no way to phase out from my problems, so that's the only way I'm able to be close to like, okay, I could leave all my issues behind and just focus on painting, focus on this wall, focus on my line work, focus on filling in how I'm filling in.
Yeah.
And then it's very addictive, especially with bombing, because now you're like your senses are like hiding.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I gotta look left and right. Like, hopefully I don't get jumped. Hopefully I don't fucking get into a problem.
Right.
So that's very like, I hate myself for it, but I'll look at a spot and be like, damn, that looks very risky. Might be doable, but risky. You know, like there's like doubt.
Kind of
but
Terminator eye it.
yeah,
like scanning and shit.
exactly. Like, I think I'll end it off with like, with some, if anyone's listening.
I got one more
mean,
question too, but I'm about to piss myself, so give me a second. You've obviously been in the game for over a decade and shit, from when you were paying attention to graffiti as a kid to what it is now. How have you seen the culture change over the last decade?
The last decade of culture change. Yeah, again, some people either stop doing graffiti and like work on different mediums. I think the easy access of how like people are bringing up like fire extinguishers and bug sprays and rollers and like, I think it's amazing to see that even people younger than me are like twice or even more energetic than I was. Like, I wasn't fucking doing rollers as twice as like 3 stories high, traveling to fucking New York or Spain. I wasn't out here fucking doing big ass straight letters on Mission and shit, like,
Yeah.
people are fucking doing it. People are communicating way much easier now than before. People are breaking into shit that they shouldn't, which is sick.
Sick.
And yeah, I just think fucking keep doing it, keep having fun, keep fucking starting problems. Keep starting problems. I don't give a fuck.
That's such
I ain't
fire
gonna
ass
say
thing
no
to say. Keep
fucking-
starting problems, homie.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say, oh my god, live your best life. Nah, bro, like fucking go paint, go over fools, I guess. No, just like
Start some shit.
start some shit and then make it up, and then maybe not. I don't give a fuck. It's your story, not mine.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think what I was gonna say is like, to anybody hearing it this far, is like, just keep doing it. Don't risk it if you're not gonna see yourself in the next 10 years. Don't do it if you're fucking scared of jail. Really,
Yeah.
if you're scared of jail, just stop now, please. Like,
Yeah.
look, find or just chill out. Yeah, and then if you go too small, like, expect that shit to get gone over. Sorry, dude. Sorry, dude. Yeah, the bay is getting too small, my guy. So we gotta do bigger and better things. you
That's
feel me?
hilarious. If you paint tiny, I'm going over you.
Like, my boy, like, it wasn't that tense when you painted it. It wasn't that tense when I'm painting it. So,
Yeah. That's what's up. I'm doing a big ass bulldog all over your shit.
Yeah, no, I don't know. People get mad. That's life. Fucking
Keep it pushing.
keep. You what did Larry June say? You be alright.
That's sick.
Yeah. But yeah, anything else? I think we're done.
I think we hit pretty much everything. Any shout outs? You want to mention your peoples, your crews?
Shout out Shout out to all my dogs. Shout out to 44. Shout out to Chiefs. Shout out to 666. Moneybags, moneybags, moneybags. Shout out to Comrag. Shout out to Poplock. Shout out to Percy, my biggest hater. No, he's not my hater. He's the homie.
I was gonna say,
be hated. Fuck you, fool.
that's what's up. I love Percy's style, man. It feels
very nostalgic.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's for me. It's just it. I look at his letters and I'm like, man, those are like I don't want to say they're dated, but they how do I explain this or the proper verbiage? But they, you just look at them and you're like, damn it. I feel like it's very much from a time in graffiti when it was just like fucking like everyone's starting to do something new, and like there's their own perception. I think it's very early 90s, like kind of early 2000s San Francisco type. Like I look at Percy's letters and I'm like, okay, you know what, man, like, and people could hate on this or whatever, but I'm like, okay, dude, like Josh Gray. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of flavor and funk, where it's kind of like you said, nostalgic, I think is a really good word for it, but it's still new age.
Somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, it's sick. I'm with it.
Shout out to Hydro, you fucking goon, you fucking jokester, assful. Who else? I mean, fuck, I'm going to go down my contact list. That's all funny. Shout out to Jazzman. You left your grinder in my car. Come pick it up. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We did the damn thing.
Yeah, sick, man. Well, fuck. Thanks for coming on to the podcast and chopping it up with me, sharing your perspective and light about, graffiti and the shit that you do. I think you're killing it. I think it's fucking dope, from when I met you when you were a kid, like to what you're doing now is like fucking polar opposite. I mean, no, seriously, dude. Like, I mean, fuck, dude. It's like over 10 years now, I fucking remember you being hella little and, just fucking giving me some stickers that I still have in my black book,
Oh,
like,
nice.
I have some of like, it's funny actually. Sometimes people leave, I'm like, oh, who's that? I'm like, oh, and I don't like fucking put you out like that unless it's like people that I really know. I'm like, oh, that's the homie, da da da. And you're like, what the fuck? That's what he used to write, like, So it's pretty interesting. I'm like, yeah, these are even cooler than that Bulldog because these are fucking OG. I'm like a hipster when it comes to your name.
I hate that about myself is that I never stuck to one name, but finally I was like, I gotta stick to.
You're holding it down with this one.
I gotta hold it down and whatever. If knock on wood, but shit's only temporary, so fuck it.
Yeah, I feel the fuck out of that. Word, man. Well, fuck. Let's see here. End of the podcast. Fucking, I always do the links. So yeah, this episode is sponsored by LeftCoastSigns. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I don't fuck with the ops. Is it sponsored by me and me only? If you coming off of a search and you don't follow my accounts already, it's bay_area_graffiti, or my personal graffiti is what's your name spelled NAYM, which is just Myan backwards. You want to give your Instagram?
They can find that out.
Yeah, word. Yeah, because sometimes I ask people, I'm like, hey, you can follow him, da da da, but they're like, nah, cut that out, edit my shit out. So if you find him, you find him. If you don't, you don't. Fucking, but you're gonna see him on the street whether you like it or not. The homie is up and killing it.
The homie.
Word, man. Well, fuck yeah. Once again, thanks for hopping on. Really appreciate talking to you. Fucking, let's go paint.
Yes, please.
I'm
go. Bored.
Fuck yeah, dude. Let's go fucking get some in and out.
I'm down with that.
All right. Well, yeah. Thanks for everyone that's listening to this episode, and catch you on the next one. Peace.
What is this rush thing? What is the rush that you get from it?
The ultimate rush, nothing to beat it, no drugs, no nothing.
Are you the kind of person who goes up on those signs on the freeway?
Yeah, more than anyone.